Very good evening. Welcome to Champions League Live for our second night of Match Day 7 action, and 7 games kicking off at 8 o'clock tonight. Our feature game is Marseille taking on Liverpool at the Stade Veledrome in France, and both sides looking for a chance at a top 8 spot in this season's league phase, and we'll see who can come away with the points tonight. Already 2 early games, Galatasaray seeing out a 1-1 draw with Atletico Madrid at own goal from Llorente, equalising for Galatasaray in that first half. And takes a point for the side who've done very well in the Champions League this year, Galatasaray. But Atletico Madrid missing the chance to really take a grasp of those top 8 spots. And Karabag, big result over Eintracht Frankfurt, winning by 3-2. A big result for them in their chances of getting through to the knockout stages. They've got themselves now 10 points from 7 games and 2 points clear of 25th ahead of next week's fixtures. In our 8 o'clock games, Athletic Club go to Atalanta, Chelsea hosts Paphos, Union Saint-Gilloise head to Bayern Munich, it's Juventus against Benfica, PSV's trip to Newcastle, as I said, our feature game Marseille against Liverpool, and Slavia Prague taking on Barcelona. 7 big games all the way throughout the night, and looking forward to keeping you right up to date with each and every one of them. But of course, Liverpool, the big story, 12 games unbeaten, of course, but not maybe as impressive as you would expect in terms of those results. That 1-1 draw with Burnley at the weekend, despite dominating every aspect but the scoreline. They will have as tough a task as any heading to Marseille, a side who sit 3rd in Ligue 1 this season and have already beaten Premier League opposition at this ground already this campaign in the Champions League. So it's not going to be an easy task for Liverpool, but it has already been a difficult one when they had a trip to Inter Milan just before Christmas on match day 6. They came away with a win, 3 points and a clean sheet, Liverpool, so they've done it in tough stadiums before this season, and they can do it again, I'm sure. And we'll have to wait and see, of course. After Manchester City struggled away at Bodo Glimt yesterday, Arsenal winning at San Siro, and of course Spurs' 2-0 home win against Borussia Dortmund. Differing results for the English team so far this week in the Champions League. 3 more, of course, tonight. Chelsea and Newcastle at home, and Liverpool, of course, away. Let's have a look at the 2 teams then ahead of this one, starting with the home side in Marseille. Of course, Roberto De Zerbi, the former Brighton manager, is their head coach. Rulli starts in goal. The back 4 of Murillo, Pavard, Bellardi and Medina. In midfield, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, the former Spurs player, alongside Kondogbia, and on the wings, Traore and Weah, with a front 2 of Mason Greenwood, of course, the former Manchester United player, and Amin Gouiri leading the line. On the bench for Marseille, De Lang, Van Neck, Egan Riley, Dubal, Gomez, Vermeeren, Nadir, Bacola, O'Reilly, Mamadi, Passau, and of course Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is on the bench. For Liverpool, they start with Alisson in goal. Back 4 of Jeremy Frimpong. Joe Gomez comes in with Ibrahima Konate out through family reasons, so that's why he's not here tonight, alongside Virgil van Dijk. And Milos Kerkez starts at left back. In midfield, Ryan Gravenberch is alongside Alexis McAllister, who comes in for Curtis Jones, who drops to the bench. Dominic Szoboszlai is in the 10. Wirtz off the left, Ekitike through the middle, and from AFCON, a return for Mo Salah to the Liverpool starting 11 for the first time since their Champions League game at Anfield against PSV Eindhoven for Liverpool. Quite a long time that has been, and that is actually the last game that Liverpool lost before this 12-game unbeaten run. On the bench for Arne Slot's team tonight, Mamardashvili, Woodman, Robertson, Endo, Jones, Gakpo, Nyoni, Chiesa and Ungamoa. Still no Conor Bradley, he's out for the season of course, as is Giovanni Leone, and Alexander Isak still out for this one. But Liverpool, other than that, have everybody they would need and want, including Mo Salah, who starts tonight for Liverpool at the Stade Veledrome, one of the toughest places in Europe to come to. One hell of a task for Liverpool, and we'll be seeing if they can pass through that test tonight. Kick-off between Olympique Marseille and Liverpool is next. A very good evening. Welcome to Champions League Live for this one tonight. A huge game in what is set to be a dramatic week next week. And we'll see which one of these two sides can give themselves a real boost heading into that game. Liverpool sit 11th in the Champions League table, just 1 point off the top 8. And Marseille sit 3 behind Liverpool in that. So they win tonight. They have a very possible chance of getting a top 8 spot when they play Club Brugge away next Wednesday night. Of course, all 18 games will be played next Wednesday night on Matchday 8. Every single one of them at the exact same time. And depending on what happens tonight and, of course, what way the table is set up and who plays who, could decide who we'll be keeping a very close eye on come this time next week. Of course, remember, the English teams, well, Arsenal sit top. They've got top 8, so no need to worry about them. But Chelsea have work to do. Liverpool have work to do. Newcastle have work to do. And City and Spurs do stay in the top 8. Despite Man City's defeat last night, but depending on tonight's results, could drop out. So they will also have work to do if they want to go through to the round of 16. Automatically, of course. So top 8 is automatic, round of 16. And the next 16 teams below that, down to 24th, will be in a playoff next month. And the winner of those playoffs will join the 8 teams that are already qualified in the round of 16, of course. Liverpool finished top of the Champions League phase table last season and were automatically put through to the round of 16 and ended up facing PSG, the eventual winners. So it doesn't always guarantee you a success and a deep run in the competition, but it certainly did for a lot of those teams last season. As we had a minute's memory of one of the Marseille players who sadly passed away this week. And look at that for a mosaic, that tifo right behind the goal in the far side of where the camera was pointed. This team, this stadium, one that most, if not all, top players in Europe look to and say, I would love to go there and win. And now Liverpool have the chance tonight. If they can do that, they can give themselves a real boost heading into Karabag at home next week, that they can get a top 8 finish. This will be one hell of a task, and one of the probably the toughest they've had this season, Liverpool, as we get underway at the Stade Veledrome in Marseille. And Marseille in their home strip of white shirts, white shorts with light blue trimmings, and Liverpool in all red this evening for this one. And we're underway in all of our games, by the way. 6 other games in action tonight, and a lot of points on the line in all of these games. That's a through ball there, was comfortably retrieved by Alisson. He was quick to it. Of course, a return for Mo Salah in the Liverpool team. That will be the big headline. That will be the big talk this evening about what will happen when Mo Salah returns to the Liverpool 11. Of course, Arne Slot made a little bit of a hint at it yesterday that Mo Salah could return to the starting 11, but some were saying that maybe it was a bit tongue-in-cheek and that he would be in the squad, but maybe not in the 11. Well, he is, and he starts on that right wing tonight for Liverpool. We'll see how that works out. Of course, short down that right-hand side are Liverpool. Jeremy Frimpong. Before Conor Bradley got injured, it was those two kind of tag teaming it down that right-hand side. Here is Dominik Szoboszlai. Plays it in field here to McAllister. Laid it off to Gravenberch in a little bit of space. Now finds Wirtz, who was blocked off as he arrived to the edge of the area. Ball rebounds back to Jeremy Frimpong. And of course, we talked about Liverpool's unbeaten run, 12 games unbeaten, but as I said, those performances, those results, maybe, albeit unbeaten, maybe more of them should have turned into wins rather than draws. Drawn quite a lot of their recent games, Liverpool. And that home game against Burnley was another one in the list where they probably felt they should have won that game. Over 30 shots, 11 shots on target, but just the one goal to show for it. And they missed a penalty as well in that game, Liverpool. Dominik Szoboszlai hitting the crossbar. But that was the way Liverpool actually won on their last Champions League game, from the penalty spot through Dominik Szoboszlai away at Inter Milan. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And one man who has experience against Liverpool before, Roberto De Zerbi, of course, the former Brighton head coach. He's got his number on Liverpool a few times when he played them. And we'll see how his Marseille team are doing pretty well in Ligue 1, as I said, third in the table. Will perform against the team that are fourth in the Premier League. There's that foul on Milos Kierkegaard there. Will get Liverpool a free kick down the left-hand side. Yeah, just kind of bundled over there. Ooh. Was caught there by Benjamin Pavard, who hurt himself as well in the process, the Frenchman. Benjamin Pavard just getting back to his feet. Liverpool just awaiting to get this free kick taken. Milos Kierkegaard's back to his feet, and Pavard slowly but surely getting back and standing up again. Ultimately a disappointing ending to the African Cup of Nations for Mohamed Salah. Getting all the way to the semi-finals, knocked out by eventual winners Senegal. That's a beautiful whip ball by Kierkegaard. Just a little overhit and headed away by the Marseille defenders. Frimpong picks it back up. Salah with a little deft touch finds Gravenberch, and Gravenberch does well to win the corner off Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Behind for the Liverpool corner. Good football there by Liverpool. Good change of pace by Salah to lay it into Gravenberch, who made that run into the box, and Gravenberch winning the corner. Now Liverpool from set pieces, neither attacking nor defending. They've been at their best, or the best, anywhere near it in Europe, but even a broken clock is right twice a day, as they say. Corner to Liverpool, right hand side, it is Salah who will take. A number of bodies battling in the middle. Slavko Vincic, the referee, just having to settle a few tussles. As the referee's not happy again, he's just said to wait a moment for Mo Salah to take this, and Balerdi, the Marseille centre-back, is just being spoken to by the referee. The Marseille captain is having words with the referee, or the other way about really. And we await this Liverpool corner, which Salah will eventually take from this right-hand side. It's left-footed, it's fizzed round the back. It's Gomez who got his head to it, but headed it well off target. And the stat that we always talk about, Joe Gomez has never scored for Liverpool in any competition ever. And he got ahead to that one, but he headed it well off target. He did get up and did command the area, but he just couldn't direct it towards goal. Andy says, "Hi man, is Salah playing?" I hit the like on the way into who's their attackers today if you have time. Sorry. Yes, 100%. Mo Salah starts on the right for Liverpool. We thought it would be Ekitike through the middle. It looks like Ekitike's playing more off the left, which is a little bit interesting for Liverpool. It looks like Szoboszlai and Wirtz are playing that kind of interchangeable role in the 10. One of them going further forward, one of them dropping deeper and kind of interchanging. Salah off the right and Ekitike off the left. There's no real dominant centre forward for Liverpool in those situations, which is an interesting little dynamic as Alisson breaks away from the long ball. Szoboszlai couldn't take it under control, but the pressure from Gravenberch battling to intercept, and Szoboszlai winning the ball, and Frimpong trying to find its way to Salah, but intercepted by Højbjerg. Marseille just picking it up with Bellardi. Just short of 7 minutes gone. We have our first goal of the night in our 7 games, and it's come at St James's Park. Newcastle United taking on PSV Eindhoven. I said about how Newcastle, they had work to do if they wanted to get into the top 8. Well, they're doing exactly the job they need to be doing because they have taken the lead against PSV Eindhoven. Johan Visa set up by Joe Linton, and Newcastle lead by a 1-0 at St James's Park. They win tonight, Newcastle. They will be jumping up to 7th as it stands, with other results all still goalless, but they will be jumping up the table. As the offside flag goes up there down the right-hand side against Marseille, Benjamin Pavard just couldn't hold his run, and he just broke a yard or two behind the Liverpool defence. Gomez. Here is Wirtz. Down the right-hand side it comes. Frimpong looking for the deep ball. It's gone very high. It's an awkward one to deal with as Kerkez throws his body towards it. Gravenberch can't intercept, and now a bit of room for Marseille to break down the right with Greenwood. Mason Greenwood charging down that right-hand flank. He's got 3 red shirts chasing him down. He works it back in the midfield and all the way back to Benjamin Pavard. Now Højbjerg. As Marseille settle back down onto the ball. And Liverpool out of possession at the moment. Battling was Gomez. He couldn't quite win the one-on-one battle. Stepped away was Gravenberch to challenge for it. Marseille tipping it around the edge of the area. Way in. Now finds Greenwood. Trying to tiptoe his way in. First cross blocked. The second one cleared away by Virgil van Dijk. Behind and out for the throw. Positive from the home team there. Andy says Liverpool are playing a strong team that are on the up now after not being as good for a long time as a team. Well, I think the results have slightly improved in the fact they haven't lost. But I think there's moments that are still they're still on the growth. They're nowhere near the best, but they're showing really positive signs, I think, in the last few games. But there's still similar traits of maybe not taking their chances well enough, giving away cheap goals every now and again, and maybe looking at lacking concentration when they do concede. Liverpool lacking that mentality to bounce back and to get back onto the front foot and try and chase a winning goal or chase a way to find a result. I think that's still lacking in the Liverpool team, but I think the fans are hopeful that that will come, but getting a bit impatient, the Liverpool fans, with some of the poor results, especially at home against Burnley. I think that will frustrate the fan base a little bit more. Here come Marseille down that left-hand side. Ball broke into the area and skipped all the way through and into the hands of Alisson, but a threat across, and I think it was Pavard that made the run into the box. It was. Bursting forward from fullback. Benjamin Pavard, great ball in from the left-hand side, and as he was sliding in, it just skipped past him, and Alisson was able to come out and grab, but Pavard threw himself at that one. He wasn't too far away. Another goal to tell you about has come in the game between Slavia Prague and Barcelona. And the home side, Slavia Prague, have taken the lead. They are 1-0 up. It is Vasil Kušej who has given Slavia Prague the lead. Now, they are in a very tough position. If they win tonight, they can still mathematically go through, but they need a a whole heap of results to go their way next week. A Barcelona side who sit 16th at the moment. A defeat for them would mean they have an incredibly, almost impossible task of getting a top 8 finish after they finished second in the league phase last season. Got all the way to the semi-finals, of course, if you remember. But they look like they're destined for knockout playoffs if they can't turn this one around. But they are 1-0 down away from home early doors. Here is Virgil van Dijk. Linking up with Weerts, back to Van Dijk, who will switch it out and over the top, actually, towards Salah. Just a little bit too far ahead of the Egyptian, but thumbs up from Mo Salah there, at appreciating the pass, and Arne Slot there telling his players to push a little bit more there. And the jury might be out for some Liverpool fans on Arne Slot and his future. But we'll wait and see what... I think, in my opinion, I think you have to assess a managerial performance at the end of the season. See, in the grand scheme of things, how things have gone. Where you finished in the league, kind of how far did you get in the cups? Did you win anything? Kind of how far you were away from winning things? And is there progress throughout the games, and as the games go on, is there progress being made? And if there is, I think then that's a positive sign. But again, I think ultimately we can get too dragged into should a manager be sacked in the middle of the season. I don't think at any point Liverpool would be thinking about doing that. I really don't. But I think, honestly, the judgment will be made by the Liverpool team and the Liverpool hierarchy in the summer, I think, whether Arne Slot is the right man for the club. But let's not forget he brought them to winning the league last season, albeit a lot will say that he didn't buy any of those players and it's a team he inherited, but a team that he still guided towards a Premier League victory, and not many managers can say they've done that in the Premier League over the last few years. So I think cut him a little bit of slack as well at the same time. But I'm not providing an opinion, I'm just making some claims and arguments. Marseille with the possession here at the moment, and they've played it through the middle nicely. Played down the left-hand side now to Murillo. Couldn't get through the box, and Frimpong and Szoboszlai squeezing that space, not allowing anything through the middle there, as cleared away by Gomez. Flicked on nicely by Salah. Ekitike holds it up, but well challenged, although it's actually going to be pulled back for a foul. The referee says free kick. And the Marseille player pleading his innocence, but it's a little bit late, the challenge there on Ugo Ekitike from Kondogbia. And that's given Liverpool a free kick, which Frimpong has down the right-hand side now, the ball. Szoboszlai. Gravenberch. Van Dijk. Not much has really happened in the first 14 minutes here at the Veledrome. Both sides having some possession, but no major goal-mouth action as of yet from either team. Here's McAllister, finds Ekitike. Now Gravenberch. Another goal to tell you about in Bergamo between Atalanta and Athletic Club. Atalanta have taken the lead in that one. Gianluca Scamacca has given Atalanta the lead there. I'll tell you what that means for them in a moment. As here comes Weerts. He's turned up the productivity in the last few games for Liverpool. Scored that goal against Burnley at the weekend. Here's a nice football by Liverpool. Ekitike, good control in the box. Lots of red shirts arriving. Wants to go and have a go himself. He flips it into McAllister. Very tight space as Marseille can clear it away. And now the counter-attack could be on here. Bursting away his way up. But he's once and ultimately met by a sea of red as they trundle back Liverpool with some speed. As I was saying about that goal, Atalanta have taken the lead against Athletic Club in that one. Scamacca with the goal. Atalanta quietly performing really well in the Champions League this year. They would be third with a win tonight. Only Real Madrid, only Bayern Munich and Arsenal would be above them. Of course, Bayern Munich are drawing at the moment, so that could change. But they could theoretically be second come the night's end, Atalanta, if they win and others fail to do so, which would be a fantastic, fantastic season in the Champions League for Atalanta, who finished 9th, just lost out on a top 8 finish last season by a solitary point to Aston Villa. Ultimately, in the end, there, Atalanta got 15 points in the whole of last season's campaign. As it stands with them winning, they would beat that by a single point with a game to spare. Here comes Salah for Liverpool. Into the box. Salah cuts it out wide to Frimpong. Frimpong with a cross. It's a bit high. Ekitike, cross. No one there to meet it. Brought down by Gravenberch. Liverpool turning the screw a little bit. Kierke's deep cross. Over the head of the goalkeeper who tried to punch it. And it was cleared behind for the corner. Yeah, a little bit awkward. Kierke's cross a little bit high, a little bit deep, but awkwardly dealt with by the goalkeeper, Rulli. He tried to get his hand to it, and then it come off the left shoulder of, I think, Weah, and goes behind for the corner. Let's see what this next set piece for Liverpool can be. A free header for Joe Gomez on the last one that he couldn't direct towards goal. Salah again over to take. And again, the referee's talking to a few of the players. It's Medina this time. That's the man who's been spoken to by the referee, Slavko Vincic. Salah again whips it round the back, punched away by the goalkeeper. Probably could have caught that one, and Marseille scramble it away as Frimpong wins the header. Flicked on by Van Dijk, and Ekitike takes it down. Dribbling towards the area, he's on his own up there. Ekitike whips a ball in, taken in by Salah. Just a little heavy on the touch, but it's gone out for a Liverpool throw. Firing those balls into the area tonight, Liverpool. That's another one, just the touch that took it away from Salah, and it allowed Amir Murillo to clear it away. But again, a fired ball by Ugo Ekitike across the area. Van Dijk to Gomez. Now down the right it comes. Gravenberch stepped across to this side. Skips away from a challenge. Finds McAllister on the half turn. McAllister's got the brick of the ball, and the shot just zips wide away from the Argentinian. Again, it just about skips away. Does really well, McAllister, on the turn, and then has a strike as he enters the area. Maybe gets a little bit of a break of the ball off Højbjerg, and then swipes at it, but just drags it wide of that left post. Just too far away, and not a bad effort from Alexis McAllister. Back in the team tonight and wanted to be back in the scoring. He scored, or he assisted both goals in the two of the 4 goals in the 4-1 win over Barnsley in the League Cup, or the FA Cup, sorry, for Liverpool. Here come Marseille as I'm keeping an eye on this. Ball across. They wanted a handball in there, Liverpool, but it's come away by Kierke's, who clears. And Ekitike holding up deep in his own half here. The left back position, he's really being hounded by Højbjerg, and he's going to get the free kick. Benjamin Pavard committing the foul. McAllister's last goal for Liverpool was a 1-0, the 1-0 win over Real Madrid in the Champions League back in 4th of November. Was the last time McAllister scored for Liverpool. He wasn't too far away with that effort a few minutes ago. Good touch by Kierke's to keep it in play. Nice 1-2 with Feerts. And McAllister flips it forward, looking for the run of Salah, but again the ball just evades him. And the defenders adjust accordingly and finding its way back to Rulli in the Marseille goal. Trying to get Salah involved, though, are the Liverpool players in a much more narrow position than we usually see Salah, as Weerts won the ball, but he committed the foul just before that in trying to win it back. And free kick to Marseille. See that again, just tussling in the middle with Kondogbia, giving away a free kick. Looked a little soft to me, if I'm honest. by Rooley. Frimpong trying to battle. Lost that header, but Gomez was over amply to cover. And Allison hooks it away. Towards Ekitike. Tried to take the first touch, was well blocked, and Marseille recover it well. It's nice play. Liverpool just sitting in their shape. Baraldi trying to create the opportunities to manoeuvre his team into good positions as Wirtz chases the ball down, as does Szoboszlai. Now out wide, Ekitike chasing down Pavard. Two Frenchmen, of course. And the ball breaks back to Rooley. Liverpool trying that real intense press that we know from old. Challenge into the middle. They couldn't win it on that occasion with Gomez, but they're still tussling the battle back for it as Wirtz tried to get there. Salah couldn't reach it as it was picked up again by the Marseille players. And that time it was Amin Guiri. Andy says, I'm expecting another goal at Newcastle soon to come in, maybe. PSV not as strong as last season. They missed their old goalkeeper, I think. And Mr. Rod Clips. We'll tell you about that in a moment, because here comes Salah on the breakaway for Liverpool. Out wide to Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai across. Ekitike! And Liverpool take the lead. The Frenchman in France strikes again. As hot as a rod, and Ugo Ekitike finds the net for Liverpool. Again, good play by Liverpool. Good pressure in the midfield. Well won back, and they've bodies forward. It's Salah who picks it up first. He finds it out wide to Szoboszlai. Fizzes it across, and I think this might be offside, actually. It looks like he's offside. It looks like he's ahead of the ball here, Ekitike. Of course, they will check it, but really good move. And I think Ekitike is just a yard ahead of Szoboszlai in the ball, and I think this will be disallowed. And the decision is offside. No goal. Really good move, but Ekitike just couldn't hold his run. And ultimately, back to 0-0. But again, it was a good move by Liverpool on the breakaway. Good pressure from the middle, and good play further forward to find the net, but ultimately just couldn't hold his run, Ekitike. It was good play by Liverpool, though. Now, will that get a response from Liverpool, or will Marseille bounce back and know that as a warning sign, as Szoboszlai does really well at intercepting there. Pops it forward from the long clearance. Gomez heads it down. Taken in by McAllister, and back to Van Dijk it comes. Well, this is what I say. Any setbacks that Liverpool have had this season, disallowed goals, missing a penalty, you know, all those sorts of situations just sets them back in the game a little bit. It's about having that mentality just to refocus, not let it really kind of distract you in a way, and really stop you from getting to that full potential in the game, and using your quality to your best of ability. And I think so far in 25 minutes it's not been much danger from either team. I think Liverpool have had a number of shots, not many towards really the target, but I think Liverpool have, despite with less of the ball, I think they've looked confident when they've had the possession. But it's just about making sure that that back door is left shut. Of course, Arne Slot has made it a bit more solid for Liverpool over the last few games in that unbeaten run, but ultimately, Salah now back in the team. Will that change the dynamics and the outcome? Will they be a bit more open? And I think it is about finding that balance. You know, Liverpool were far too attacking at the start of the season. They're far too kind of reserved, I think, in the last few games, just trying to steady the ship and make sure that they aren't shipping goals for fun, Liverpool, like they maybe were at times at the start of the season. And I think it's just finding that balance for Arne Slot. And sometimes that takes time. as Weah wins a free kick there from the midfield. Free kick to Marseille, a good distance out, but an opportunity for Marseille to try and threaten Liverpool here. As I said about that kind of tifo that was behind the goal, it was behind the goal that Alisson is currently in. And it is kind of reminiscent of the Kop at Anfield in that type of atmosphere, that type of energy from that end of the field. Marseille will take this free kick. It's Greenwood over it. Left-footed delivery into the area. Up and half cleared. Falls to the man on the back post. Alisson has to make the save, and Frimpong fires it clear. This could be turned into a good pass if Salah can get to it, but Rulli gets there first. And that ball will bobble out for a Liverpool throw. Again, it looked dangerous on the set piece. Alisson had to make a save. I think it was Guerreri who got the rebound and had the shot across Alisson's goal, who the Brazilian got a good save on it. Weerts back to Gomez. Now Gravenberg. Decent possession in a tight space here for Liverpool, but not really manoeuvring it forward too much. Here's Gomez. Flicks it down the right channel. Frimpong across into the area and caught by Rulli. Decent ball by Frimpong, but no one really throwing themselves to try and get anywhere near it, and then ultimately it took a deflection that kind of helped it into the path of the Marseille goalkeeper. It's a good save by Alisson from this Guerreri shot. Yeah, decent effort, decent save. Ooh. Mr. Rod says we need a little bit more high pressing nowadays and force the other team to make a mistake. Yeah, I think that's what's been frustrating a lot of people, and I don't think Arne Slot really goes against that. I think he made it clear himself that he would like to see his team a bit more high pressing, a little bit more energetic, but it's about finding that balance between being too aggressive in your press and then getting popped around and beaten on the counter-attack, and kind of leaving those gaps and being vulnerable in behind. As they've won it back here, Liverpool with the press. Boschlei, a poor ball. Couldn't find Ekitike. Weerts and Salah there with him. Just couldn't link it up, but good press again from Liverpool from that midfield. Just couldn't get the right pass to keep the ball progressing forward as Højbjerg picks it up here for Marseille. Remains goalless here at the Stade Veledrome. 29 minutes gone. Marseille 0, Liverpool 0. Another goal to tell you about from St James's Park. Newcastle doubling their lead against PSV Eindhoven in that game. So it looks like Newcastle are cruising their way to victory. In the northeast of England tonight, Anthony Gordon, set up by the man who scored the opening goal for Newcastle, and Johan Visa with the assist this time. And Newcastle 2 to the good, which means as it stands they would move up to the top 8 and will be 7th, which would get them an automatic round of 16 place. But of course we've still one match day to play next week, and a tough trip, shall we say, with an honest feeling. PSG away is arguably one of the toughest places to go and one of the toughest teams you can face, but not impenetrable. Sporting Lisbon showed us that last night, as we see the confirmation of the offside against Ugo Ekitike for what Liverpool thought was a goal, and he's quite a good half-yard offside. Not major distance, but just couldn't hold his run a little bit, and frustrated was the Frenchman, but I mean, he's already found the net multiple times for Liverpool this season. The striker they really needed this campaign, Liverpool, and 12 goals in 28 games in all competitions for Ugo Ekitike, as Frimpong throws himself into a challenge, but the referee's just going to pull this back for a foul against Weah. He just kind of throws it, turns around, and Frimpong goes right over the top of him. It's definitely a foul. And a free kick to the visitors. As Arne Slot watching the little monitor on the side of the pitch with his assistants. They maybe see the goal, possibly, or where Liverpool can try and exploit this Marseille side. They've got a set piece here, down the right-hand side. Dominic Szoboszlai over it. He's glancing towards the area to see who he can find in red. Szoboszlai, right-footed, it's deep. It's headed away by a Marseille defender in the first instance, but re-picked up by Liverpool again. Frimpong. Now Weerts. Ball across to the left-hand side for Gravenberg. Van Dijk stayed up there. Gomez has come back, but Van Dijk's not too rushed to get back to his position. And Gomez just lays it back out wide to Frimpong, and Van Dijk now does retreat back to centre-back. Here is the captain, Virgil van Dijk. Liverpool having a little bit more of the ball in the last few minutes. Here's Kierkegaard, deep cross that time, swung round the back. Couldn't find his compatriot in Dominic Szoboszlai, and behind for a goal kick. Decent idea, but again Liverpool trying those crosses a number of times tonight, and Kierkegaard that time out just a little bit high on that one. Not enough whip on it, ultimately. A recap of all the games around the grounds. Just not many goals to tell you about so far, but Atalanta won up against Athletic Club. It's goalless between Chelsea and Paphos at Stamford Bridge. Union Saint-Gilloise against Bayern is 0-0. Same at Juventus against Benfica, that's goalless. Newcastle 2 to the good against PSV Eindhoven at St James's Park. Goalless between Marseille and Liverpool here, and Slavia Prague leading Barcelona by a goal to 0. Here comes Greenwood for Marseille, and they've won a corner. Good play down that right hand side, and Van Dijk has to make the challenge to put it behind for the Marseille corner. Yeah, really good play again by Marseille in the wide areas, and Van Dijk steps out and commands, make sure he's not getting past him, and a corner will come here for the home side. 33 minutes gone, still goalless, and as I say, major action as Greenwood whips it in the second time. Too deep. Goal kick. Well, Marseille have lost their last 3 Champions League games against Liverpool. The most recent between the two sides was in the 08-09 group stage, where they lost 2-1 at home and 1-0 away. Did Marseille. And Liverpool did beat Marseille 4-0 at the Veledrome, as Ekitike in behind again. Rulli was forced into punching it away, but I think the flag was up again against Ugo Ekitike. Marseille were beaten by Liverpool 4-0 in December of 2007 in the Champions League as well. Ooh, that one's a little tighter against Ekitike, but he just maybe leaning offside there. Something that Liverpool trying to get to grips with, that offside trap of Marseille and timing it right. The home side have caught Liverpool offside a few times. Weerts, now Szoboszlai, couldn't find the through ball to Ekitike. Gomez on the press though. Battling was Weerts, and Weerts just getting a little too handsy. And a free kick to Marseille. 10 minutes to go in the first half. Means goalless. So far Liverpool have had 1 or 2 key moments with Ugo Ekitike. Marseille had their best chance when Guiri forced to save by Alisson, but that's a mistake at the back here. And Salah's picked it up. Couldn't find the through ball again, but Salah's there to pick it back up again. Ekitike rolls it through, hits it towards Salah. And nicely intercepted by Højbjerg, who skips away for Marseille as they try and break forward. Again, both teams being a little bit sloppy in possession at times. Marseille there again into danger of all of their own doing really. And then Liverpool unable to capitalise once more. A few loose passes in the final third that doesn't find their desired targets. Mason Greenwood switching it out to the left-hand side for Murillo. Medina across to Balerdi. Balerdi back out to the left-hand side again. Sloppy in their play, Marseille, but they just about get away with it again. As Balerdi tries to go right up the middle, but well stopped by Gomez and Van Dijk. And all the way back to Allison it goes. And we talked about Marseille and what kind of position they're in the Champions League. But in terms of Ligue 1, only PSG and Lens are in a better position. They sit third in the French League to Marseille. 35 points from 18 games. 11 wins out of a total of 18. 5 defeats and 2 draws. They don't draw many games. They've only conceded 19 goals. Only 3 teams have a better defensive record than Marseille. And in terms of their home form, they've lost just once in the league at home all season. They won 6 of their 9 home games. Here's good football by Liverpool. Weerts just got the ball away from him as he entered the area. But again, little glimpses from Liverpool, but just unable to get that final pass, that final touch right in the area. As Marseille come away with it again. Greenwood taking his time on the halfway line. Again, Liverpool making some movements, but again, as I say, just that final cut and edge, not there at the minute. They're getting closer. They're probing well with less of the ball. Another goal to tell you about in Prague, between Slavia Prague and Barcelona, and that lead for the home team has now been eradicated. It is 1-1. Barcelona back on level terms. Fermin Lopez with the goal set up by Frenkie de Jong, and after a period of pressure, Barcelona get back on level terms. A draw for Barca would mean they would be on 11 points, 15th, and 2 points off the top 8 going into the final day. A draw or defeat for Slavia Prague would end their Champions League campaign. They would have just 4 points as it stands with a draw, which would mean they would be 4 adrift of 24th place Napoli, but with only 1 game left to play. So a win is a must for Slavia Prague, but they're not quite getting that at the moment. Good football here by Marseille around the edge of the area, but they hit it against their own man, and the rebound falls for Szoboszlai. Liverpool 5v4. Here's Weerts trying to wait for the right pass. He finds Frimpong out wide. Lets the ball get a little bit away from him, but he keeps it in play. And Frimpong's got options. He whips it across. Salah couldn't get it towards the target. Goal kick, but great ball by Frimpong. And an audacious attempt by Mo Salah that didn't find the target in the end, but he made the run across the front post. He tried the little flick. It wasn't too far away, just caught the wind a little bit and it flew over the bar, but audacious actually came off his his thigh, I think that was. Very interesting way of trying to score it. In the end, it goes for a goal kick, but Liverpool on the breakaway a few times have looked threatening. A couple of counter-attacks that Marseille will have to fend off. So far, Liverpool have been their own worst enemy in those situations, unable to capitalise on those counter-attacking situations, but growing in confidence. Weerts, lovely ball to find Ekitike. Back to Weerts, took the heavy touch, the fierce ball by Ekitike. Again, a couple of those crosses really massively overhit, and the first touch ends up having to try and take control of the ball rather than find the right option to set up a finish, and that's what's maybe letting Liverpool down a little bit. They're trying to force it into the area too much, overheading it a little bit and allowing the Marseille defenders to kind of surround the ball when it does be taken in by the Liverpool man in the middle. Short of 5 minutes to go with the first half, and Liverpool on the front foot. Gomez. McAllister's dropped a little deeper alongside Van Dijk. Kirkez back to Virgil van Dijk. Fire it long, looking for that direct ball in behind again. Szoboszlai on the run, but again, that ball by Van Dijk. He tried it with Salah a little earlier, and that time with Szoboszlai. But But once again, just a little half yard, if that, ahead of him, just off his toe. And finding Rooley, but not too far away there again, where Liverpool with that ball over the top. Another goal in Prague, and maybe this is the curtains calling on Slavia Prague's season in the Champions League, because they are now 2-1 down. Barcelona have turned it around, and it's Fermin Lopez again with the second, and Pedri this time getting the assist. So within the space of 8 minutes, Barca from 1 down lead by 2-1. That would put them 9th, just outside the top 8 on goal difference as it stands for Barca at the moment. And Slavia Prague will be 3rd bottom and would be eliminated as it stands. Would need a win to avoid elimination tonight, Slavia Prague. 2-1 to Barca there. No other updates elsewhere. It looks like the end of the half will conclude quietly, where 4 of the 7 games are currently goalless, including our feature game here at the Stade Veledrome between Marseille and Liverpool. Switch ball out to the left-hand side here for the home side. Maybe they could have a chance just before the break. Ball in, away by Gomez. Taken in by Salah as they again try and counter Liverpool, but ultimately stopped as Szoboszlai gets a foot in. Frimpong to Weerts. Back to Frimpong. And now Jeremy Frimpong bursting down the right side. If he can find an option, he was taken down, but he didn't want to go down too easily as he flicks it into the area. Bounces towards Kirkez, calls a handball there. Kirkez keeps it alive. Now McAllister finds Weerts. Edge of the area. Liverpool popping it around again. Around the edge of the Marseille box. Gomez through the lines finds Gravenberch, who was hacked down to the ground. And that's going to be a free kick to Liverpool right around the edge of the box. Yeah, Bellardi, I think that time that came crashing in. Yeah, it's a really silly challenge by the Marseille captain in that sort of position. I'm calling for handball. It looked like would it have skidded off the hand of Weah, but didn't look like there was much contact there at all. They are checking it though, VAR. That's why Slavko Vincic has halted this free kick for the moment. I don't know about Arne Slot, what he's trying to say on the sidelines there. We'll wait and see what VAR has to say then. They are checking it for a possible handball. So we await to see. See this again. Does it come off the arm of Weah or his shoulder? I think it's just his shoulder. It's just about here. And I think that should be no handball, free kick, and the decision is no handball. So the free kick will stand around the edge of the area. And I think that's fair. I think it would be really harsh if it was to be given, because I mean, his arm was down by his side and it did come off his right shoulder rather than anything else, in my opinion. And again, you never know in Europe. The threshold for giving a handball is a lot less than it is in the Premier League, as we know. But nonetheless, Liverpool do have a set piece, this time around the edge of the area. Fairly central. Right on the verge of half-time here at the Stade Veledrome. Szoboszlai and Salah, I think, are the two that are debating who's going to take this one. Of course, I already know Szoboszlai's prowess from this sort of position already this season. I'd take a wild guess saying he will be taking it. 1 additional minute, by the way, at the end of this first half. Weerts is there too, but I don't think he's going to stay for long. Yeah, he's just walking away now. So Salah and Szoboszlai over it. Around about 22, 21, 22 yards out from the edge of the area. Just to the right of goal, Szoboszlai or Salah. This would be a great chance to score, a great opportunity to score. Szoboszlai low and finds the corner. Completely different way of scoring. Thought he was going to whip it into the far corner. He completely caught out everyone, including the Marseille goalkeeper, and finds the bottom right corner. And Liverpool's free kick specialist has done it again. Marseille 0, Liverpool 1. The perfect time to score for Liverpool, right on the verge of half-time. And Dominic Szoboszlai, a genius from a dead ball. And he's found the net again for Liverpool. Again, he lined up, he set up as if he was going to try and whip it. But in the end, he keeps it low. The wall jumps. There's no draft excluder. Everybody laughs when someone lies down at the back of a wall. Well, they should have had someone lying down because they would have stopped that. They all jumped. Szoboszlai rolled it underneath them all. And it caught out Rulli. It caught out Marseille. And Liverpool take the lead with a sumptuous little free kick by Dominic Szoboszlai. And Liverpool lead by a goal to nil. And that is the perfect time, as I said, to score. And now that's deaded this crowd. And there's the half-time whistle. Right on the verge of half-time, as I said. And that is one happy, I'm sure, Liverpool team. And a Liverpool manager who will be happy with the way his team have played so far in this first half. Albeit they got the goal right at the death, but their performances were there. They thought they'd scored a lot earlier than they did, Liverpool, when Ekitike found the net, but he was just offside. Chances galore as well. Salah flicking wide. Ekitike having one or two chances. Gomez heading wide as well from a set piece. Liverpool have created chances, but they take the lead into the half from a sumptuous Szoboszlai free kick. Marseille 0, Liverpool 1 at the break. Sure, one last kick. This is going to be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal! Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me! That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and battered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. Oh, welcome back to Champions League Live this Wednesday evening and our penultimate night of Champions League phase action as match day 7 concludes this evening. 7 games still to go, all at the half-time mark at the moment. Let's recap where we are around the grounds. They're not major amounts of goals, lots of goals actually between Slavia Prague and Barcelona. We'll talk about that one in a moment, but a recap on those two early results. Galatasaray against Atletico Madrid. Atletico failed to take the opportunity to go back into the top 8 and really take a firm grip of those spots with a result tonight, but they drew for the first time this season, and Galatasaray drew for the first time in the Champions League this season for both clubs. Galatasaray 17th on 10 points, Atletico on 13 points in 11th after that 1-1 draw a little earlier. Giuliano Simeone in the 4th minute opened the scoring for Atleti, but on the 20th minute Marcos Llorente put into his own net to level for Galatasaray. Finished 1-1 there. Qarabag 3-2 winners against Eintracht Frankfurt, but they came from behind. Duran gave Qarabag the lead before Uzun and Chalbi gave Eintracht Frankfurt the 2-1 advantage with a penalty spot on 78 minutes. Duran then equalised for Qarabag in the 80th minute before Mustafa Zada, apologies, Balul Mustafazadeh scored the winner for Qarabag in the 94th minute, meaning 3 points for Qarabag and a re-immersion of them in trying to stay in the competition at a Frankfurt side who are now eliminated from the competition with that result. Quite remarkable. Elsewhere in the 8 o'clocks, just the one goal between Atalanta and Athletic Club in Bergamo at the minute. Gianluca Scamacca with the goal for Atalanta has them won to the good at the break, and they're pushing for more. It's goalless in Liam Rosenior's first Champions League game as Chelsea boss. It's goalless between Chelsea and Paphos at the bridge, but Chelsea have had all the pressure, just haven't been able to find the net as of yet. A Chelsea side with work to do, and a Paphos side, if they get a result tonight, they have a very realistic chance in their debut season in the Champions League to progress to the knockout stages. If they get a result tonight and then win on the final game, they will have a very big chance at going through, and they play Slavia Prague next Wednesday night. So all plain sailing for Paphos at the minute away at the bridge. It's goalless between Bayern Munich and Union Saint-Gilloise, a Bayern Munich side who've won all but one of their 6 Champions League games coming into tonight's game. But at the minute, Union Saint-Gilloise looking like they will be the first team to make Bayern draw this season. They've had all the pressure, the home side, but no goal as of yet. Over 70% possession, but just one shot on target for Bayern Munich. Struggling at the moment. Both sides who haven't found the net in the game in Turin between Juventus and Benfica. In that one, closely fought. Benfica outside the top 24, but they will not be eliminated tonight. They will be guaranteed a chance to get into next week's kind of face-off for the final top 24 spots, no matter what happens, but a win or a draw would massively help them. A Juventus side who sit 3 ahead of Benfica on 10 points as it stands with a draw. They will be on in 16th. It is all good and plain sailing for Newcastle at St James's Park, if I can get my words out. So far at half-time, they lead by 2-0. Johan Visa and Anthony Gordon on the score sheet. But a little bit of a sour note, though, for Newcastle. Bruno Guimaraes has had to come off just before half-time with an injury, so that is a bit of a concern for Newcastle. And PSV did have a little bit of a push to find a goal back before half-time, but dominance so far from Newcastle, and they lead by 2-0. It is in our game, Marseille 0, Liverpool 1 at the break. Dominic Szoboszlai from a free kick right on the verge of half-time. Giving Liverpool the lead. A first half that Liverpool, despite having less of the ball, have been much more productive. A new way of finding a way to threaten under Arne Slot, but just the one shot on target, and that was the goal so far. So more work to do in that front, but they do lead at the break to Liverpool. And at half-time, where all the goals are really hotting up in that game between Slavia Prague and Barcelona. Prague took the lead inside 10 minutes when Kušež opened the scoring. Fermin Lopez with a double inside within 8 minutes of each other, then brought Barca 2-1 up before a Robert Lewandowski own goal Well, that's bizarre. In the 44th minute, Robert Lewandowski put the ball into the back of his own net and has got Slavia Prague back on level terms in unusual circumstances, to say the very least, and it is 2-2 there. Right, at the end of the evening, just to let you know, we will tell you what all the fixtures are next week, what that means for each team, and of course we'll show you the table and where each team will enter match day 8 with. Match day 8, where all 18 games will be live at the one time, this time next week, Wednesday the 28th of January, and we'll be looking so forward to that one, bringing it to you next Wednesday night here on LFS. But it is half-time in all of those games. The second half between Marseille and Liverpool is here on LFS, and Liverpool lead by 1-0 at the break. Dominic Szoboszlai, the scorer. Work to do for the home side, but Liverpool looking like they're giving themselves a real boost heading into next week's game at home at Anfield, and they would jump up to 5th with a win tonight. Second half to come, though. That's on the way next. Sure, one last kick. This is going to be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this, and Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions, and there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal. Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me. That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. Oh, welcome back to Champions League Live. Second half between Marseille and Liverpool on the way next. Liverpool leading by 1-0 at the break, and going well for Liverpool at the moment. But that goal coming right on the verge of half-time from Dominic Szoboszlai from a free kick. But I think the performance has been pretty good from the visitors so far. We've not really seen much in an attacking sense from Marseille. In terms of chances so far, the best chance was their only shot of the game that they've registered so far, and that was, of course, from their number 9, Amin Gouiri, who made forced a good save out of Alisson, but a tight angle and a save you would expect the Brazilian to make for Liverpool. But that's the only shot they've registered in the first half, Marseille. Liverpool, albeit, have only had one shot on target themselves, but they converted that shot, as I said, with Dominic Szoboszlai's free kick. But a big second half to try and see out this one for Liverpool, if they can. And it will be some big result. It will be back-to-back European victories for Liverpool, and it would be a total of a 5th of the season in the Champions League in terms of victory. And that so far would see them jump up to 5th in the table on 15 points. And just a point behind Bayern Munich here, currently drawing. And 6 away from Arsenal. And a total of 2 ahead of 9th place Sporting, just outside that top 8. But a long way to go, and a big second half where a lot can change, not only here in the Stade Veledrome, but of course elsewhere too, that could really alter the dynamics of next week's showdown on all 18 games. Going off at the one time, I mean, it's absolute chaos. We did it last season, it was mental, but it was well worth it in the end, certainly. As we get back underway at the Stade Veledrome, it's Liverpool kicking from left to right in the second half. Of course, Marseille from right to left. We'll see if that changes anything, or whether... Of course, the wind did play a part in that first half, I would suspect, with a couple of opportunities, a couple of those crosses lifting quite high. So maybe both sides playing opposite directions. Could that change the way this game flows? We will see. But albeit, these are top quality internationals. Some of the best players in Europe on show at the minute. Don't think they will be too concerned by a bit of wind. You'd be surprised. McAllister with a little 1-2 between him and Weerts takes it down nicely. Couldn't quite drag it past Højbjerg in the middle. And now Mason Greenwood taking his time, looking to give Marseille a little bit of possession. They had 55% of the ball in the first half, Marseille. Liverpool 45%. As I said, just one shot, one corner. So not too much productivity with the amount of possession they did have for the home team. And Liverpool did look a threat on the counter when they did win the ball back in the midfield. That's nice play though, down the left-hand side here from Traoré. Back into the midfield it comes for Kondogbia. Nice layoff with Guerrieri. And the shot from Højbjerg from range is off target, but worth a hit from that range. He's hit and scored them before, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. But he dragged that one well wide of the post. No real concern for Alisson. And Liverpool have won just one of the last 6 away games against French opposition in all comps. But of course that was in their most recent visit to the country in the Champions League. And a 1-0 win at PSG, of course, in March of 2025 in that round of 16 first leg where they scored that late winner. I think Harvey Elliott, scored that late winner for Liverpool. And Alisson made had one of the games of his life, if not the game of his life, in that game at the Parc des Princes last season. But a record that doesn't follow them. 2 draws and 3 defeats out of 5 of the last 6 away games in France for Liverpool. As Benjamin Pavard here was given a yellow card, either for pushing Milos Kerkez over or handling the ball while it was still in play. But either way, he's been given a yellow card, and that's the first player tonight, I believe, to be booked. Here comes Ekitike dribbling forward for Liverpool. Weerts into the chance! Couldn't get the shot off. The challenge came in at the right time. I think it was Beraldi that got his body in the way. And did enough. Here's Mason Greenwood on the breakaway now for Marseille down the right. Waits for the overlap. Weah. Goes back to Pavard. Weah. Greenwood switches it back into the midfield for Højbjerg. Cross to Medina. Now Ballardi, the Marseille captain, who gave away the free kick at the right of the end of the first half, which Dominic Szoboszlai converted. Right through the middle. Again, a flick ball by Guerrieri. Well stopped by Kerkez, who clears it away. A pick back up by Pavard. Right, Ballardi. Medina. Through the lines again, but they have to get rid of it with the Liverpool press. Medina. Many options forward for Marseille at the moment. Trying to find those options, but Liverpool shielding them well out of possession as Weah comes deep to help out. Ballardi. Greenwood. Flicks it forward, looking for the runner. Frimpong tussling and battling. Does well enough against Traoré there, does Jeremy Frimpong. And back to Alisson in a comfortable position. Nicely done by Jeremy Frimpong. Did just enough to put Traoré off. As we see this chance for Weerts again. Beautiful little cutback by Hugo Ekitike. Good to get it out of his feet and get it across. And then Weerts set up the shot, but took maybe a little half second too long to try and shoot. And as he went to set it up for the shot, Ballardi got there in time to stop him. It was Gomez and Salah trying to link up there, but Salah well blocked by Medina, and out for the Marseille throw. Murillo with the throw in. Brought down by Højbjerg, but again combative from Szoboszlai, as was Frimpong, who tried to shove his man out of play, and ultimately it will be a throw to the home team. Actually, they've given a free kick there, the referee, just inside the field of play. And the push of Frimpong. As we see the possession between the two halves, right the way through the match, 59-41 in Marseille's favour. And now they're on the breakaway down the left here. Up against Frimpong was Traore, trying to work his way towards the box. Højbjerg on the edge. Again, surrounded by red, but he does lay it off well. Guiri struggling to get towards the area as he tiptoes his way inside. Medina. Now Mason Greenwood, who's come central, skips away from his man and shoots. And the ferocity of that sort of shot forces Alisson to parry it away. And behind for the corner. Cuts across Weerts, and Greenwood, good strike from range. Finding that, going towards that far corner. And Alisson did well to parry it away and behind for the corner. It's good play from Greenwood. And now a Marseille corner on the right hand side. Left footed deliveries, left a lot, swung in. Up and taken in by Traore. Fed back to Greenwood, who takes the shot again, and that time zipped across. Was it a touch from Alisson again? I think it is, and I think they've got another corner. And maybe they're starting to push for it. I think Kerkez got the deflection on that one. They carried it well away from goal, but another corner. Now Marseille starting to get a bit of momentum now, which they really didn't create at all in that first half. They really struggled to pen Liverpool back and put pressure on the visitors. As Guiri takes this corner. It's deep. It's up and away by a red shirt. It bounces on the edge. Marseille retrieve possession again. Salah trying to press, but nicely stepped away in the shot. It deflects off his own man and into the hands of Alisson, who tries to unleash Salah on the breakaway. The bounce of the ball finds its way to Mo Salah, who takes it in comfortably but is strongly challenged by Medina. And now Greenwood charging away down the right. Again, a number of red shirts in the way as McAllister gets a foot in there and puts it out for the throw. Starting to really create in this game, Mason Greenwood. Let's update you. There's been a few goals in the second half so far. Bayern Munich have taken the lead against Union Saint-Gilloise, so the deadlock broken there at the Allianz Arena. Harry Kane, who else? But Harry Kane has scored for Bayern Munich to give them the lead. And Juventus have taken the lead against Benfica in that one in Turin. Kefran Thuram with the goal has given Juventus an early lead there. Here come Marseille down the right again. Van Dijk throwing ahead to it to clear it away. Only as far as Kondogbia, I think that was, that whipped the cross in. And Salah trying to get Liverpool on the breakaway. Ekitike just about got it towards Frimpong. He was challenged, but fairly, said the referee. And now down the left it comes. Guiri drifting into the box. Dragging away from Gravenberg. Still going Guiri. Goes down, wanting something, but the referee sees no issue. And cleared away by Soboslai. And picked up again by Marseille. No way out for Liverpool at the minute. Being a little bit more aggressive, Marseille, I think. And they've garnered that momentum. They're getting the crowd involved, which is just pushing them forward a little bit more. And one or two really good individual moments from Mason Greenwood has just maybe enticed them on a little bit more to say, maybe Liverpool are here for the take. I'm just not being aggressive enough. And starting to see Marseille showing a little bit more quality. A second goal at the Allianz Arena. So it took them 52 minutes to get one. Bayern Munich, well, they've got two in the space of 3 minutes of each other, and they double their lead. Harry Kane with his second of the game from the penalty spot this time, and Bayern Munich are 2 to the good against Union Saint-Gilloise. Bayern Munich, as it stands, with them winning, will be 3 points behind Arsenal. Theoretically, they could still possibly overtake Arsenal, but a big goal difference swing in the final game would need to happen for that to be the case, albeit Arsenal would need to lose as well. But Bayern in second as it stands, with 3 points ahead of Real Madrid, who are currently in third. Union Saint-Gilloise, with a defeat, wouldn't be mathematically eliminated, but would be in a tough position, 2 points adrift of the top 24 heading into next week. Here comes Kirkes for Liverpool, trying to drift it into the area. Nicely done, and wins a corner. As Liverpool want to reapply some pressure on Marseille, and it was Timothy Weah that got his body in the way of that one. And behind for the Liverpool corner. As I was saying about Juventus taking the lead as well against Benfica. Juventus jumping up to 13th with a win on 12 points. As I said, Benfica wouldn't be eliminated, but still 2 points adrift of the top 24, like Union Saint-Gilloise, in a tough spot going into next week's games. Liverpool corner. Szoboszlai on the left-hand side is over to take it. And 4, 5, even 6 Liverpool players in the middle here. Ball whipped in, up and away. First contact by Højbjerg. Weerts tussling to win the challenge. He waits for the ball to drop the second time and now lays it back to Szoboszlai. Back into the middle it comes to McAllister. Szoboszlai. McAllister trying to poke it through for Ekitike, but well shielded by Bellardi. And Gomez across to fend off the Marseille threat down that right hand side. Nicely done by Joe Gomez there. Comes back in from the cold. Of course, Ibrahima Konate out this evening through to personal matters, as what Arne Slot informed as of yesterday in the press conference. So not involved tonight here, Ibrahima Konate, due to those reasons. So Gomez starts at centre back alongside Van Dijk, of course. Played the most recent FA Cup game as well against Barnsley, and also involved in the Premier League victory over Brighton back in December, where he got an assist in that game for the opening goal for Ugo Ekitike, who scored twice in that match for Liverpool. So recently been involved in the goals as Joe Gomez, but much tougher to do that from centre back, of course. Gomez again going through the middle. Nice ball to Szoboszlai. Feinted into Ekitike, who hits either the crossbar or the post, but one of the two. It denied him. It bounces back out to Frimpong. Liverpool pushing for that second to alleviate a little bit of pressure, as Gravenberch's cross was a little low. McAllister with a heavy first touch, and Marseille could be on the break here. They've got opportunities. Here's Greenwood. He's got one man to find if he can find him. Find Weah, who shoots it well over the crossbar. Big chance, not taken. And that one skied over the bar by Marseille. It was Liverpool on the counter that had the threat in the first half. It's Marseille this time. And it's Traore, that has the shot, and he just skips it over the crossbar. We see this chance for Liverpool again, though. Beautiful play. Ball by Gomez into Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai finds Ekitike, who crashes his shot off the woodwork. I think it came off the right hand post and bounced back out for Frimpong, but offside and the woodwork denying Ugo Ekitike a goal in his own home country. But here come Marseille pushing back again. Frimpong tussling well in the box. Szoboszlai now on the breakaways. Feeds it forward a little bit ahead of Ekitike, but picked up by Weerts in the pocket. And now Ekitike back onto the ball, drifting into the area. Tried to get past his man, but again, Bellardi was in the way and recovered well, the Marseille captain. Both sides having opportunities so far in this second period. And it's end to end at the minute. Liverpool with that narrow lead. They need that second goal if they want to alleviate a little bit of this pressure. Otherwise Marseille will keep pushing for that equalising goal as we hit the hour mark. Goals to tell you about: Athletic Club have levelled in their game against Atalanta in Bergamo. The goal from Gorka Guruzeta has levelled the game there. So Athletic Club back on terms. It means Atalanta dropped to 6th in the Champions League table, but they're still in the top 8 quite comfortably. Athletic Club needs something out of this game tonight to have really any realistic chance. If they lose tonight, they will be 3 adrift of the top 24 with 1 game to play, but a very tough task on the final day, needing everyone else around them to lose and them to win. But that's a lot. So they need something to have a chance, and they're drawing at the moment in Bergamo. Elsewhere, Juventus have doubled their lead against Benfica. So both Juventus and Bayern were goalless at the break, but 2 early goals in the second for both sees them 2-0 up in their home games. Weston McKennie with the second goal has doubled Juve's lead in Turin. So a quick recap around the grounds. It's at Atalanta 1, Athletic Club 1. Still goalless at Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and Paphos. It's Bayern 2, Union Saint-Gilloise 0. Juventus 2, Benfica 0. Newcastle 2, PSV Eindhoven 0. Marseille 0, Liverpool 1. And Slavia Prague 2, Barcelona 2. Lots of very intriguing results around the ground so far and across Europe this evening. This one tightly contested here in Marseille. Beautiful link up between Ekitike and Kirkez, and he's on his bike here. Kirkez lays it out wide to Weerts. Weerts with a shot that's parried wide and behind for the corner. Again, beautiful play from Ekitike and Kirkez that really breaks this move open. Ekitike comes deep and links up with Kirkez on the give and go, and the gap's left in behind for Kirkez to break into. He lays it out to the left for Weerts, and as he drifts inside, Florian Weerts has a shot at goal. It's well saved by the Marseille goalkeeper, Geronimo Rulli, and behind for the Liverpool corner. Red card at the Allianz Arena. We'll get to that in a minute. It's a big one, and we'll tell you what's happened there. Corner to Liverpool, though. Szoboszlai to take on this left-hand side. 6 Liverpool shirts in the middle again. 2 on the edge. Can Szoboszlai find the head of one of his teammates in the mix here? Right-footed delivery. It's deep to the back post, and it's sailed over the head of both Gomez and Van Dijk. Behind for the goal kick. As we see this opportunity again for Ekitike. Beautiful football. Again, the finish just not far away, but it crashes it off the post, and it's maybe just not going to be Ugo Ekitike's night. He'll not give up on it, though. It's the type of character he is, but you got to say, a tight offside that was correctly disallowed, and then that hitting the woodwork. It's tough against them so far for Ugo Ekitike. I told you a red card at the Allianz Arena. It is a red card for Bayern Munich. They lead by 2-0, but Kim Min-jae, the centre-back for Bayern, has been shown a second yellow card, which means that Bayern are down to 10 men, despite leading 2-0. And Union Saint-Gilloise might have a little bit of a lifeline at the Allianz Arena. It is Bayern 2, Union Saint-Gilloise 0. Bayern down to 10. Ekitike, lovely play again with Weerts down that left channel. Weerts whipping the ball towards the area. It's a little overhit, but Frimpong has enough to keep it alive, and he was a little late at responding to that loose ball from his first touch, and Højbjerg thumps it out of play for a throw down this right-hand side. Another goal in Prague to tell you about between Slavia Prague and Barcelona, and the visitors once again lead. Barca leading by 3-2. Dani Olmo with the goal, and Barca lead by 3-2. Here's lovely feet by McAllister, and Ekitike again shooting towards goal, but this time the shot over the bar. Again, beautiful for McAllister in the build-up. Lays it into Ekitike, and I think he forces the save out of Rulli again there. It's high, and Rulli got a hand to that, I think. Looked like he did. That should be a corner. They've given a goal kick, but I think Rulli should be credited for the save there. It was a ferocious shot, just a little high from Ekitike, but he got a hand to that, Rulli. In the end, the goal kick's given, but Really good opportunity again for Liverpool here, creating some chances now. Both sides have really unleashed a little bit in the second half. 9 shots between the two teams, considering there was only 6 in the first half and 5 of those were from Liverpool. Marseille have had 5 shots, Liverpool with 4 in this second half alone. Here they come into the box here, Marseille, and it's just skipped into the side netting by Weah. Both sides are pushing for that next goal, and they're not too far away, either team here at the minute. Again, good play down that right-hand side. The ball fed back into the area to the on-running Weah. He took a few touches to get his shot off, and then he did. It deflected by Van Dijk behind, and into the side netting for the corner. Both sides are pushing. Which one will find the breakthrough in this next goal, which looks incredibly likely to be coming. More goals elsewhere, but we have to keep an eye on this corner. Whipped in, up and away by Van Dijk. Follow-up is well over the bar by Guiri on the edge of the box. Right, goals elsewhere. Atalanta against Athletic Club. Athletic Club have turned it around. They lead by 2-1 in Bergamo. The second goal scored by Nico Serrano has given them the lead for the first time tonight, so maybe they could re-rescue this season for them. Athletic Club, they will be in the top 24 with a victory, and Atalanta would drop out of the top 8. A massive goal that swings one way against Atalanta, and certainly for Athletic Club in trying to go through to the knockouts. And another goal at St James's Park. It's a third for Newcastle. They have surely wrapped up the points against PSV Eindhoven. Harvey Barnes has added the third. It means Newcastle will be in the top 8 as it stands this evening, and that will certainly catapult them to a chance of getting automatically to the round of 16. After the last time they were in the Champions League, they were knocked out bottom of their group and didn't get anywhere near the knockout stages. They will get to the knockouts, we suspect, definitely. Newcastle, with winning now at the moment, and inside the top 8, could get them there automatically for the round of 16, avoiding the playoffs, of course. That's 3-0 to Newcastle at St James's Park. Still goalless between Chelsea and Paphos at the bridge at the moment. Frustration from Liam Rosenior's side. He's made 5 substitutions, 2 at half-time and 3 in the 70th minute, as Marseille push forward again. The deflection from Gomez. I don't know if Alisson caught that. He did. They said it stayed in play. So it's just Liverpool possession. They've had 20 shots, Chelsea, in that game. Just the 1 from Paphos. And they've had 6 on target, Chelsea. None from Paphos. So they are dominant, to say the very least. But they haven't been able to convert. Paphos hanging in there at the very death of it right now. And they're keeping it at a goalless draw at the moment with 20 to go in that game. 22 to go here. Ekitike with the ball for Liverpool. In between the lines, lays it out wide to Frimpong. Inside the confines of the penalty areas. He bricks into the box now. Frimpong, and challenged well as he couldn't keep the ball in play. Goes for a goal kick. Yeah, good strong defending there. And nothing more than just a goal kick to Marseille. Ball into the over the top. Traore making the run and behind Frimpong. Traore cut back. Nicely intercepted away from Greenwood by Weerts. Liverpool in their own half trying to create something as Kierkegaard goes back to Alisson, who whips it back to Kierkegaard. Flips it out wide to Weerts. Mess me. Ekitike holds it up well. Holding off a man, and now Liverpool moving through the middle. Gravenberch breaking forward. Soboslai. Back to Gravenberch. Out to the left-hand side for Ekitike. Bodies in the box. Ekitike trying to find Salah, and the header just goes wide. He found Salah, but Salah couldn't find the net. It just drifts wide of that left post. Big chance again from Liverpool. Well created by Ekitike. Was Salah? He was offside anyway. They held their offside trap again. Well there, Marseille. And Salah just jumped. But Went wide in any case. Another goal in the game between Atalanta and Athletic Club. What a second half from the visitors. They lead by 3-1 to Athletic Club now. From 1-0 down at the break to 3-1 up in the second half. A turnaround certainly massively in their favour. And Robert Navarro with the third goal means it should be, and very much could be, 3 points for Athletic Club on the road when they need it most. Oh, an awkward defensive header there. Brought down by Ekitike, tried to dribble past Bilardi, but not able to keep it alive there at Marseille as Ekitike has it back with now Weerts. Trying to dribble his way into the area. Weerts, Ekitike has to cut it back. McAllister feeds it down the right channel. Frimpong breaking under the ball. Tiptoeing towards the area. Beats past his man, gets to the byline. Frimpong, can he find it through? It's gone in! And it's doubled Liverpool's lead. Unorthodox from Frimpong, but Liverpool find a second. They've been desperately pushing for, and the momentum swings again for Arne Slot's Reds in France, and they lead by 2-0. A closely fought second half, but Frimpong's persistence down that right hand side gets them a bit of luck in the end, and it finds the far corner. Frimpong does well. Tries to cut it back, and it deflects off a defender. I think it's Medina that comes back off. It rolls into the far corner. As I say, the persistence from Frimpong turns into a slice of luck for Liverpool, and they double their lead in Marseille. Both sides have fought so hard for that next goal in this game, and it is Liverpool who get it in a key moment. And I think it's actually going to go down as an own goal from the goalkeeper, who might have had the last touch there in Rulli. It's a really harsh own goal to be given, but it is an own goal. And it is 2-0 to Liverpool. And that is going to settle down this visiting team. And it looks like Liverpool might just be getting their 5th Champions League victory in 7 matches. And heading very likely to a top 8 finish as it stands. They jump up to 4th, above Spurs, above everyone else around them. Only Real Madrid, Bayern and Arsenal are above Liverpool in the Champions League table now. And it means Liverpool will be 2 clear of 9th place Sporting, who are 9th at the moment, heading into the final game at home of the campaign against Karabag on match day 8 in a week's time. And we'll see how they fare in that one, Liverpool, which could be a massive help or hindrance, who knows. But Liverpool tonight have been much stronger, you gotta say. I think the first half performance was a credit to Liverpool, the way they came out and really piled on the pressure early doors to Marseille and end up getting that late goal in the first half through Soberslai. But ultimately, all that matters is they come away with the result, Liverpool, and they're 17 minutes away from doing that as they lead 2-0. Soberslai, lovely play, finds Weerts out to the right hand side for Salah. Silky moves from Liverpool. Here comes Salah inside, fainted ball to Soberslai, carried away from goal as he was well marked by Bilardi, and picks it back to Gravenberch, who recycles the Gomez and across to Van Dijk. Updates from elsewhere. Barcelona have added a little bit of sprinkle to the scoreline there in Prague. They've now extended their gap. They are 4-2 up now against Slavia Prague in that one. Robert Lewandowski scoring at the right end this time to give Barca a 4-2 lead in that one. McAllister, Gomez, McAllister, Soboslai, McAllister. And UEFA have officially called it a Rulli own goal for the second Liverpool goal tonight. The last touch coming off the Marseille goalkeeper. Goal at Stamford Bridge, big one to tell you about. Here comes Frimpong though for Liverpool, who's surely fouled and is actually going to go against Liverpool there. That looked like Frimpong was being pushed away from the ball rather than the other way about, but referee seen it in Marseille's favour and a free kick to the home side. I'm not too sure about that, but ultimately that's the way the referee calls it. As I was saying, big goal at the bridge, and they've been pushing all game, Liam Rosenior's Chelsea. and they do find that breakthrough. Moises Caicedo in the 78th minute has given Chelsea the break that they so desperately were needing against Pafos. That's their 21st shot, their 7th shot on target, and they have taken the lead, Chelsea. And that scoreline would put them into the top 8 ahead of winning Barcelona. And it would mean that all but one of the English sides would be heading into match day 8 inside the top 8. 5 of the 8 teams in the top 8 of the Champions League table would be English teams. Only Manchester City would be the only side outside of that top 8 come match day 8 in the Champions League as it stands. With Chelsea winning, Liverpool winning, Newcastle winning, and Arsenal won last night, and Spurs winning last night, shall I say, as well, means that Man City losing is a massive result against them in terms of their chase for the top 8. Of course, they still very much can get into the top 8, but they need a little bit of help along the way next week. But Chelsea lead by a 1-0 at the bridge that puts them into the top 8 spots as it stands. Kerkez with the block there for Liverpool down this left-hand side. That'll be a Marseille corner. And that Chelsea game is the last game to have a goal in it tonight. Every other game had goals galore. Ball whipped in to the area as Alisson was on the end of that one comfortably for Liverpool. It was tested there by the Marseille captain, but past that test. Oh, slipped there by the Marseille defender. He gets away with it, but for a moment that looked like it was a calamitous slide away from the ball, and Liverpool looked like they were going to be in a dangerous position, but Marseille just about to scramble it clear of danger. Now Højbjerg couldn't find a way past Van Dijk with a ball in behind, and McAllister combative as well on his challenge out of possession. Liverpool lead by 2-0. They haven't made a substitution yet, Liverpool, in this one. Marseille made 3 changes, by the way. Nadir, Passau and Aubameyang have been on for the last 10 minutes, but Liverpool yet to make a sub, and I think Arne Slot's going to go to the bench anytime soon to try and see what's going to come of that, and if they can bring on some fresh legs to try and get them over the line here. Shot from range again, off target this time by Wea, I think that was, and behind for a goal kick. And Liverpool, as I say, go to the bench now and making some changes. Arne Slot, it's going to see the replacement of Ugo Ekitike and Florian Wirtz. So a double substitution is going to see the introduction of Cody Gakpo and Curtis Jones, I believe. It is. So if I can work out this, I don't think they will go to a central striker. Liverpool, I don't think they've actually been playing with a central striker all night. I think in the second half, Ekitike has been more central, but he was towards the left a lot in the first half. And Ekitike has really had all sorts of threat without scoring. Hit the post and also had a goal disallowed for offside. He's been very much involved amongst another number of chances that he's had. Despite not finding the score sheet tonight, though, the Liverpool striker has been impactful and trying to help his team to victory. But so far, Szoboszlai and an own goal from the Marseille goalkeeper that's going to see Liverpool as it stands heading home with all 3 points. Now here comes Greenwood, well challenged by Milos Kerkez, who made a timely block and behind for the corner. Well done by Milos Kerkez again. He had a real tough start to his Liverpool career, really matching the pace and the difficulty of that left-back position in a red shirt, but he's seemingly fitting more nicely into that sort of position the last few weeks. Van Dijk with a clearance away from a good cross, up and away again as it bobbles in the area. Gravenberg can only clear it as far as Højbjerg. Switched out to the right-hand side. 10 minutes to go in Marseille. It's Marseille 0, Liverpool 2. Ball bobbling in the area. Cleared away and scrambled away by Szoboszlai, but Marseille piling on the pressure. Try and get a goal back and get back into this game. Now, we've had another big moment in the game between Bayern Munich and Union Saint-Gilloise at the Allianz Arena as Frimpong steps in, puts that out for a throw. Bayern had a penalty, and Harry Kane, who's already scored a penalty tonight, has hit the woodwork from the spot. So they missed from the penalty spot there, Bayern. They try and out a third. Remember, they're down to 10, Bayern Munich, but they had a penalty that was stopped by the woodwork. Benfica have also had a penalty, and they've also missed it straight off target from Pavlidis, who've been their hero so far this season, Benfica, in a few of the last games. But Pavlidis missing from the spot, and their hopes of getting back into the game are looking slimmer as the clock ticks closer to 90 for Benfica against Juve at the moment. It's 2-0 to Juventus in that game. All but one of our games at the moment has a 2 or more goal advantage for the winning team. Athletic Club lead by 2, Bayern lead by 2, Juventus lead by 2, Newcastle lead by 3, Liverpool lead by 2 and Barca lead by 2. The only goal at the game that's closer than that is Chelsea against Paphos, which is 1-0 to the Blues at the minute, but it looks like it's been all Chelsea in that game, and it doesn't look like Paphos are going to pull off something crazy there, but you never know. I've seen stranger things happen. Gravenberch there, being bundled to the ground. And that's going to be a Liverpool free kick. Well, I have to say, if Liverpool do come away with the 3 points here, this will be 13 games unbeaten. And a performance, I think, tonight that's been really positive. You know, I think we go back to the game against Inter Milan where Liverpool really started to kick on this run. Here comes Gakpo. He rolls it through for Salah. Salah tries to beat the goalkeeper and he misses the target completely. Tried to be too cute with it, I think, there, Salah. Should have went across goal. He tried to go near post. And he completely missed the target. I mean, Gakpo, opportunistic, breaking onto a loose ball. Salah there. Tried to give the goalkeeper the eyes, and in the end, should have kept his eyes on where the ball was going, and it went wide. I mean, the far side of the goal was gaping, waiting for Salah to find it, and tried to go near post and completely missed the target. Should have been 3-0. And he says, because you guys have been blessed historically with some of the best forwards to ever grace the game, a Liverpool forward is not scoring. That's a lot of historical pressure and expectations. 100%, but I think Ugo Ekitike, if that's what you're mentioning, has been fantastic since coming into Liverpool in the summer, and arguably, actually not arguably, the best Liverpool signing from the summer, and the one that really, in some eyes, went under the radar as he'd be a backup striker to the big signing of Isak or kind of Florian Wirtz, etc., the big money signings. But I think Ugo Ekitike has been one hell of a shrewd bit of business from Liverpool and an incredible acquisition to the football club. And he's producing in front of goal, game in, game out. Tonight he didn't get his goal, but everything other than a goal he got tonight. He's fantastic on and off the ball. And I have to say, it's not only about what Liverpool have done with the ball, it's without the ball tonight. I think without possession, they've been really combative, really strong, really kind of intense in their press off the ball. And I think that's what a lot of fans have been calling for Liverpool, to be a bit more intense, be a little bit more aggressive, show a little bit more tempo. And I think their team have been a lot more vertical tonight. I think their passes have been much more risk-taking, but also they've also, in the end, benefited from taking more risks, being a little bit more expansive, trying to find their forward targets, and on multiple occasions they've posed such a threat to Marseille. I mean, on another night, if Liverpool really were clinical, they probably could made this 3-4, even 5-0 because of the chances they've created tonight. They've hit the woodwork, they've had a goal offside, Salah's missed the target as well. Ekitike's had a number of chances, Wirtz had 1 or 2 opportunities. I mean, a number of players tonight for Liverpool have looked a real threat in the final third. Either the goalkeeper or their lack of clinical edge has just let them down. But again, that will come. You're creating the chances. We always say it. It's not always kind of, if you're not scoring the goals, it's not always a problem if you're still creating the chances and still getting the right positions. The goals will come. And I think that's the positive tonight for Liverpool, is the fact that they've been so much more creative, so looked so much more fluid in attack and positions, and really could have put a bit of a stamp on the scoreline tonight. But again, and a welcome return from Mo Salah, it seems like, albeit as he's had one or two chances himself, maybe a little bit rusty in the Liverpool team, albeit he's been playing football for the last month, but a little bit rusty in this Liverpool system that maybe, wouldn't say has evolved without him, but adapted without Mo Salah. It's maybe just adapting to him being back into it. But finding that balance as well, and I think even with Salah, I think in and out of possession he's been strong tonight. Three and a half minutes to go. Marseille 0, Liverpool 2. Liverpool just were managing this game well. Frimpong's pass into the midfield was a little bit loose. Again, Kerkez anticipating the ball, anticipating the pass and cutting it out well. I gotta say, not only has the attackers been strong for Liverpool tonight, I mean, Milos Kerkez has been fantastic. Really, really strong down that left-hand side. He's done really, really well, and Van Dijk and Gomez have looked really strong as a partnership, which they have been multiple times before in successful Liverpool teams. Of course, Liverpool team that won the league in the 1920 season. It was Van Dijk and Gomez, the partnership for the majority of that season. So we hark back to that, but I think the defensive line for Liverpool's looked strong tonight, albeit Mason Greenwood created a couple of chances, and Marseille did have opportunities in this game, no doubt, but I do think Liverpool defensive looked so much stronger tonight. Atalanta have made it a little bit tastier in Bergamo into additional time, and a goal from Nikola Kristovic has given Atalanta a bit of a lifeline in that one. There's 4 added minutes. They're into the second minute of those, and it is Atalanta 2, Athletic Club 3. It might not just be over in that one just yet, as here come Liverpool down the left. Gakpo breaking into the area, goes on the outside, whips a ball across, and I don't know if Rulli got a hand to that, but it finds its way to Jones on the right. Now Frimpong, McAllister back to Curtis Jones. Alexis McAllister again slipped and took his man out in the process. Free kick to Liverpool, free kick to Marseille, shall I say. A reminder, as I said, that all 18 games in the Champions League live next Wednesday night to see who will be getting those top 8 spots, who will be going to the playoffs, and who will be going no further in this season's competition. That's tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Next Wednesday at 8 o'clock, a week tonight. And by the end of this evening, we'll recap all of tonight's scores, and we'll also tell you what that means for the league phase table heading into match day 8 next week, and who needs what and who they will play. And we'll tell you about that very shortly, as we're into the last minute or so of the 90 minutes here at the Stade Veledrome. And it's a rarity that Marseille drop points at home. It's a rarity that Marseille would lose at home. And it looks like, as it stands now, Liverpool might be able to come and pick up that said victory. And in terms of their home form this season in the Champions League for Marseille, it hasn't been completely impenetrable. In the 3 games that they've played at home in the league phase, they've won 2 and lost the other. Not many goals have been involved in those games. 6 goals scored, 2 conceded heading into tonight's action. So they haven't been fantastic at home, certainly this campaign, but 2 wins out of the 3 so far. Coming into this one tonight, but it looks like it might be 2 in 4, as we will have 3 added minutes, so not much left as we surpass the 90-minute mark at the Stade Veledrome. And remember, Marseille, as it stands, with them losing, as it stands, Marseille would be 19th in the league phase table. They would still not be out of the grasps of elimination, but they would need a result next week away at Club Brugge if they are to secure their place in the top 24, because there will be one hell of a fight on from those teams below that top 24 to fight for any sort of hope and help in getting to the knockout stages. A chance! And a good save by Alisson off Aubameyang. Puts it behind for the corner. They haven't given up yet, though. Liverpool looked a little bit open there and all a little bit out of shape. And Greenwood with a lovely ball fed into Aubameyang, who hit it well. And Alisson with a good save, parries it wide and behind for the corner. Well, when he's been needed tonight to be called upon, Alisson's been there to deny Marseille on a few occasions. As that corner cleared away by Szoboszlai at the near post. Back out to the edge of the area. Shot from range is always rising from Timothy Weah. Goal kick. And well, some of the games around the grounds coming to a conclusion at the moment. Well, of course, recap all of those scores for you. Long ball in behind. Szoboszlai with a lovely little flick. Liverpool on the move again here. It's Gravenberch. Gravenberch into Gakpo. Cody Gakpo. 3-0. Tucks it in the far corner. And that puts a cap on a Liverpool victory. 3-0. And that is going to be 3 points for Arne Slot's Reds on the road. And that should be all but confirmation that Liverpool are going to be a top 8 team and are going to have February off in the Champions League. Again, beautiful from Szoboszlai between the lines. He lays it off to Gravenberch, who had the overload, played it out to the left. Gakpo cut onto his right foot. Some people criticising him for cutting inside on his right. At that time, he had all the time and space he could have wanted. And he did the right thing and found the back of the net, Cody Gakpo. Marseille 0, Liverpool 3. Game, set and match for Arne Slot's Liverpool. And off the bench, Cody Gakpo into the goals. And a happy night for those Liverpool fans. I mean, this will be a very good victory. A 3-0 win away at Marseille, and not an easy place to go. And as the final whistle goes, confirmation of all 3 points for Liverpool. And that is disappointment for the home team. A chance to really make a statement of their own tonight if they could against a Liverpool team that, despite being unbeaten, were a little bit wobbly in recent times. But you got to say, Liverpool came, conquered, and they're heading back to Anfield with all 3 points. And a big victory on the road in Europe for back-to-back games with back-to-back clean sheets in the Champions League. Away at Inter and away at Marseille. Not easy places to go, but they've come up with the goods, Liverpool, on both occasions. Dominic Szoboszlai opened the scoring right on the death of the first half from a really inventive free kick, hitting it under the wall into the far corner to give Liverpool a half-time advantage. It was the known goal from the Marseille goalkeeper, Rulli. He had the last touch from a Jeremy Frimpong cross at the byline that found the net for 2-0 before Cody Gakpo in additional time made it 3 with a nice finish into the far corner. It is a win for Liverpool, defeat for Marseille. They have work to do, the French side, going into match day 8 next week when they go to Bruges. Not the way they wanted to end what has been a pretty good league phase at home for them this season, but work to do if they want to progress to the knockouts. But Liverpool into the top 8, up to 4th in the Champions League table, and they look like they're sailing their way through to the round of 16. Albeit a big game next week at Anfield, but they will feel that they have done all the hard work tonight. Final score at the Stade Veledrome in France. It's finished Olympique de Marseille 0, Liverpool 3. And all but one of those 7 games that we've been keeping an eye on in the Champions League have concluded. It's all still underway at the St James's Park. 3-0 to Newcastle at the moment. Right, let's recap all the scores. Galatasaray 1, Atletico Madrid 1. An own goal from Atletico's Marcos Llorente meant the points were going shared between the two for the first time this season that either of those two have drawn a Champions League game. Karabag with their late winner against Eintracht Frankfurt eliminated Eintracht, and Karabag keeping their hopes of progressing alive. It was finished Atalanta 2, Athletic Club 3, a real comeback from Athletic Club in the second half after 1-0 down at the break, but they won by 3-2 after a late scare from Atalanta made it a little bit more tasty, but a 3-2 win for the Spanish team. Chelsea in the end edged out Paphos, albeit they dominated that game, but just the one goal from Moises Caicedo saw past Paphos. Bayern Munich were 2-0 winners in the end against Union Saint-Gilloise. That a penalty as well, missed a red card as well for Bayern in that one, so that was only half the story, the scoreline, but both by Harry Kane. Juventus 2-0 victors against Benfica. Benfica missed a late penalty to try and make that one a little bit closer, but Juve come away with the 3 points. It has now finished between Newcastle and PSV Eindhoven 3-0 for Eddie Howe's Newcastle, who jump up into the top 8. We'll tell you what the table looks like in a moment, but Newcastle 3-0 winners. Speaking of 3-0 winners, Liverpool heading to Marseille and winning by 3-0, and it is finished Slavia Prague 2, Barcelona 4 in that one. Despite that though, Barca don't finish tonight in the top 8 despite winning in their game, so work to do for Barca going into next week. Well then, all 9 games that have taken place tonight have now concluded, and let's show you what that means for the Champions League table heading into next week's incredible night of action next Wednesday night. Let's show you then. So it is Arsenal, who've already qualified for a top 8 spot after their victory last night away at Inter. So they top the table as it stands and are on 21 points, 7 wins out of 7 are Arsenal at the moment. They are 3 ahead of Bayern Munich, who've also won tonight. They're up to 2nd. Real Madrid in 3rd on 15 points, as are Liverpool on 15 points, but behind Madrid on goal difference. But they are in a very strong position, as are Spurs. They're in 5th on 14. Then come PSG, the reigning champions, on 13. Despite being beaten last night, PSG, they stay in the top 8. Newcastle jumping up a couple of spots into 7th. And Chelsea making up the top 8, all on 13 points. And it is that close that there are 5 teams outside the top 8 that all are in the same points as those bottom 3 teams in the top 8, but goal difference separates them. Barcelona, now Sporting, Manchester City, Atletico Madrid and Atalanta, all on 13 points, but goal difference is the difference between those teams and the top 8 spots at the moment. Then come Inter, Juve, and then Dortmund on 12 and 11 points respectively to make up the top 16. So those 9th to 16 spots would be teams that are seeded for the playoff round. They would have the second leg at home. Then into this bottom half of that section, 17th to 24th would be unseeded, so those teams would have the second leg away in the playoffs. Galatasaray in 17th, Karabag, then Marseille, Bayer Leverkusen, Monaco, PSV, Atletico Bilbao, or Athletic Club, and Olympiacos making up the top 24. Key notes of teams that are outside the top 24, Napoli in 25th, Copenhagen in 26th, Bodo Glimt, despite winning against City last night, they're in 28th, Benfica 29th, and Ajax 32nd, and the 4 teams that are confirmed eliminated at the moment are Eintracht Frankfurt on 4 points, Slavia Prague, who've lost tonight, they are eliminated, they're on 3 points, and Villarreal and Cairo Almaty, who were both eliminated last night, they have just got a solitary point apiece. Right, that is it from us tonight. A reminder for you, we've got the huge night of action, Matchday 8, all 18 games in the Champions League live next Wednesday night to see who will be getting those top 8 spots, who will be going to the playoffs, and who will be eliminated, confirmed. 4 teams already out, 1 team already through automatically to the round of 16, but a lot still to be decided next week. But Liverpool, we know for sure, have given themselves a real good chance of heading through to the round of 16. Marseille with work to do. Good night.